Hey traders, Jonathan here with Control the Trade, and we're taking a look at a chart of Baba. You're gonna have to excuse all the crazy lines I have on the chart. I'll explain what some of those mean. Some of them are long-term support and resistance lines that I don't like to remove from the chart. For example, 168.50's been there a long time, 159.12, and then a couple new ones I added were 157.75, 155.55, just for intraday trading, and you can see they've been really important today so far. We've been consolidating around the 159.12 ever since we ran up real quick here at about 160.35. Right now we're just challenging the high of this candle. It's not going to be that easy to just break through that, especially in this horrendous downtrend that it's been in. So I just really wanted to make this video while Baba is trading. It's just kind of fascinating what's happening with it, so I figured we'd capture it in real time. You can see we have the 20 period moving average here on the 10-minute chart acting as support. You can see we touched down on that. Now we're retracing again down to the low here, and we're staying below 159.12, which I think is interesting. We hit 159, we hit 159.15, both times where we were rejected. If this plays out the way that I would anticipate, this would hold, and we would start to close candles again above 159.12, and maybe the last half an hour of the day, we run up above 160 and have a nice close on the daily. Let's see what that looks like. And we finally get our low, because this thing has been trying to make a low for quite some time now, and they've just completely destroyed this stock. You can see there's a lot of volume on these 3 days here, so this looks like our capitulation low. That's my outlook on it, that this could be the low right here that will end up sparking a move back up, say up to 169. You got a gap here, you got a bunch of gaps here, maybe back up to the 190s. The 20 period moving average is sloping down quite significantly here. This is very bearish. Short-term downtrend within a longer-term uptrend. Let's look at a longer-term chart. Here's a monthly chart. We're visiting, I think, like prices from 2-3 years ago now. That's how much this thing has been destroyed. So it could be presenting a nice opportunity. The monthly close is going to be so important on this. You know, if price is going to keep traveling down further, or if if it's going to get saved in this general zone. Was today the final low? That's what we're going to wait and see. Right now, that pivot low that we've been looking for, but we won't know for another 45 minutes on how this wants to close out. If we close out red, definitely obviously not as strong. If we close out on a nice green doji, I really just want to see what that's going to look like at the end of the day. So right here again, we're looking at the 10-minute chart, and you can see the low is 158.43. The 20 period moving average on the 10-minute chart is 158.33. Is that going to be it? Are we going to get another bounce here on this next candle? Or are we going to just fail and then head down to 157.75? It's really trying to test this 20 period moving average here. And you're seeing this in real time. Now we're at 158.30 is the low. So we're spiking through the 20 on the 10-minute chart, picking up some volume here. You know, for your bull case, you're going to want to close above that line right there. You're going to want to close above 158.33. And you can see it's doing that. I can even look at a 1-minute chart. Let's see what that looks like. With this much volume, I definitely found a lot of value in looking at a 1-minute chart. And you can see here we have a 200 period moving average on the 1-minute chart, and we're touching down on that. Obviously this moves a lot faster. If you start to see 1-minute closes, I'd say above this 158.59, kind of gets us out of the woods here for the bulls. And then you'd want to head back towards 159.12 again. We'll have another challenge in that area. It's interesting that the 1-minute chart has the 50 period at 159.09. My number is 159.12. That was already previously on the chart. This is really cool to see in real time here. Let's go back to the 10-minute chart, see what happens in the next 3 minutes. The 3:30 close is going to be really interesting. So we'll give this a few more minutes here, and I'll probably fast forward the video as we watch the price action. I'm going to set a couple alerts here. Normally I would never recommend trading in the afternoon like this. 11:30 is kind of the cutoff for me. But when you see all this volume, this continued volume and interest in this stock, it's hard to ignore the opportunity. As we rode price up here from down, once we broke out above 155.50, we were able to ride price all the way up to 160 for this pullback that we're experiencing right now. Again, what I'm expecting is another move higher. But this is the first time it's been challenging this 20 period since all the way back here on this breakout. So let's see what happens here. If we can hold 158.40, if we can hold 158.50, That's going to be important for the final half an hour of the day. Alright, you can see we skipped over some time here. We did close this 10-minute candle here at 158.56, and the 20 period SMA is 158.50. So we're just still hanging by a thread here, staying alive. 158.67 now is the new one, and we're at just a few pennies below that. So it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen here. I'm still expecting a run up to 159.12, and then that'll be showtime right there. It's going to tell us everything that's going to happen for this last 30 minutes of the day. And again, I'm going to let this sit here, and we're going to fast forward in the video and see what happens, and then I can analyze it the rest of the day. You can actually probably hear my alerts that just went off there. Here comes a bunch of alerts. Look at it go. This is real time now. 159.25. You can see there's going to be a fight right here now. Is 159.12 going to be our new floor again? We really need to close this next 10-minute candle above this area. That would be really important for the bulls. And then our next challenge is going to be, of course, back up to 160, which is where this all started. 159.93 was the high. That's our opening high. And look where we are now. Came all the way down here, flushed everybody out. We've been creeping up ever since. I got alerts going off like crazy right now. So let's see what's going on. We're going to fast forward a little bit. What's interesting here also is you can see how much things are picking up right now. Once we got back above that level, let's look at the 1 minute chart and see if that tells us anything too. Look at that. We closed a 1 minute candle above the number and just shot up right here. So let's see if that serves as support. And then the true test, of course, is going to be that 160, that 159.93. We're going to get back up there and test that or not is the question. I do like this movement here in the last half an hour of the day. It's definitely really important for the bull case. And if you look at the daily chart, we have a beautiful green doji with extremely high volume. I believe we're going to have the most volume we've had on this ticker in I'm sure well over a year. I'd have to look back. Our next challenge is going to be 159.91. We hit 159.89. It's about 160.05, somewhere in that zone. We're going to get some pressure, some resistance right there. So what's going to be interesting is this next 10-minute candle here. Obviously, we'd love to be able, for the bull case, above 159.89. So you can just start to challenge the high of the day at 160.35. Let's look at the 1 minute chart to see if that supports the same thesis. Got a nice little bull flag on the 1 minute. And you can see we just reached right into that zone. Look at the high, 159.93. In the close, 159.81, and then we hit 159. We hit 160. Let's go back to the 10 minute, see what it looks like there. So the 10 minute chart, we're still challenging at 195.91. The high here, 160.05. We hit 160, just 5 cents away. This is very bullish right now. No sign of a pullback just yet. We'll keep it here. Here we go. Look at that. Above 160. If this holds in the next 2 minutes, you're definitely going to see that big move up that we talked about earlier. But first, you got to get past 160.35. You can see we hit 160.34. Unbelievable. 1 penny away. There we go. 160.35, I think just hit. There it is. Now, if we close above that on this 10-minute candle, we should see a really nice move to the end of the day. Look how nice this 1 hour chart looks too. 160.48 is going to be resistance here, but when you get to the end of the day like this and maybe you get some short covering, so now you can see on the 10-minute chart we closed above 160.37. That's pretty remarkable. And now it's kind of show time here with only 17 minutes to go. Any close above 160 is going to be strong, especially if you look at the daily chart here. We have a nice green doji with the highest volume that we've had in at least maybe about a year. I'd say at least I have to look back and see what that looks like. Now I used the 10-minute chart primarily, and we broke out above the 20 period moving average on the 10-minute chart. Then we came back to revisit it, and we broke out again above that area. So it's definitely important. This is how I learned to trade. It's how I learned to chart, by using certain moving averages and certain time frames, and this is one of the ones I use primarily intraday. Now I don't use the 1 minute as often, but I am finding it more and more helpful. And you can see that the 200 period moving average, which is basically a fractal, it was acting the exact same, of course, as the 10-minute 20. This just moves a lot faster. It definitely gives us some good clues, so I kind of like that. I know a lot of traders are using the 1 minute charts, they're using VWAP and things like that, and I don't necessarily use VWAP, but I'm aware of it. Because if the algos are using that type of information, then I want to be aware of that too. People program algos, and if they find the 1 minute charts and VWAP to be important, I want to be aware of it too. But again, the 10 minute chart is where I'm most comfortable and have the most success. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this kind of got you inside my mind as far as how I look at charts and how I trade. And I had to record this as I saw the movement on BABA. This one really stood out to me because of the volume, because it was respecting the numbers that I charted. When that happens, I really get interested in the stock when it's actually kind of following my expectations. So hope this was helpful. Please subscribe, and remember, don't let the trade control you.